Tom, I really love gold, but I'm a millennial. I've invested all my money in Bitcoin. Is there any way I can get some gold?
So, you want to play Saboteur. So this is Saboteur, an exploration and hidden agenda game for 3 to 10 players. It was released in 2004 and designed by Friedrich Moyerson. You play the role of dwarves trying to strike it rich in the gold mines. However, one of you may be overcome with gold lust and try and sabotage everyone else to get all the gold for themselves. Aim of the game is to get the most gold.
To set up the game, you separate your cards into the different backings. They consist of the golden nuggets, the dwarf cards, the path and action cards, and then you also have the starting tile and the different gold cards. After you've done this, you can separate the gold cards to the side.
Next, you need to set up your dwarf deck. These are the cards that let you know what team you're playing on. Today we're showing you how it works with 4 players, which means you need 1 Saboteur card and 4 dwarf cards. Give them a quick shuffle and then deal 1 out to each player. That means there will be 1 card left off to the side, and you never know whether or not there is actually a Saboteur in the game.
After you've done all that, you grab the path and action cards, and because we're playing with 4 players, you deal 6 out to each player. Once you've dealt all the cards out, you place the deck to the side and in reach of all the players.
Then you need to set up your play area. You have your starting card, which you can place down the end here, and your 3 gold cards. One of these is gold, the rest are stone. You give them a quick shuffle so that no one knows what is what, and then place them 7 cards away from the starting card with 1 space gap between them. And you're all set to play.
And don't forget that the number of cards in the dwarf deck and the amount of cards you deal to each player depends on how many players you're playing with. Check this in the rulebook.
Saboteur is played out in 3 rounds, and your goal for that round depends on what team you're on. If you're the dwarves, you're trying to get to the gold. If you're the Saboteur, you're trying to stop everyone getting to the gold. You do this by playing path or action cards.
Each round is split up into individual turns. On your turn, you can take 1 action. You can place an action card onto a player, you can place a path card into the play area, or you can discard a card face down.
There are 4 different kinds of action cards that you can play. The first of these is a break card. You play this in front of another player and they can no longer play path cards into the play area. However, they can fix this with a repair card that matches the kind of broken tool that you've played onto them.
Next is the rockfall card. This lets you destroy one of the paths in the play area and put it in the discard pile. The last action you can take is maps. This lets you secretly look at one of the gold cards.
When placing a path, you are trying to create an uninterrupted path from the start card to the goal cards. All cards must match up to cards that are already in play, and you must play all cards in the same orientation. So, say I wanted to start this path off, I could play this card here and get things going. It matches up there, and it's placed in the right orientation. Then, at the end of my turn, I draw a card.
Then it'll be my turn, and I can continue the path.
You couldn't then play a card up here because the path doesn't connect up there. As always, if you can't play a card in any way, you can discard a card face down and you draw a card at the end of your turn.
And so, we're nearly at the end of the game. I unfortunately thought the gold was over here, however I was wrong. We still keep the card flipped face up, continuing the path.
Then it comes back around to my turn. I'm going to play this card up here, connecting to this gold card. It's the gold. I win because I am a dwarf. We find out who's who now. Billy was also a dwarf. Our imaginary 3rd player was a dwarf. Our imaginary 4th player was the Saboteur. They lose. Here's how you get the winnings. You deal out equal number of cards to the number of players. So in this case, 4. I, as the person who got to the gold, get to pick first. There is nuggets numbering 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to take 3, because it's the most gold, and pass it off to the next dwarf player. They will get to pick a card and so on, and it'll come back round to me because the Saboteur gets nothing. I get the last bit of gold, and then we shuffle up and start again.
The Saboteur wins if all the cards in the deck run out and the players are unable to reach the gold. Once the Saboteur has won, they receive 4 gold nuggets, not 4 gold cards. This number does change depending on the amount of Saboteurs in the game, so don't forget to check the rulebook.
So that's Saboteur. Whoever's got the most gold at the end of 3 rounds wins. You're going to have a great time whether you're the Saboteur or the dwarves.
As always, don't forget to read the rulebook, especially if you're playing with a different amount of players. And don't forget to subscribe.
If you want to see a Let's Play of Saboteur, that'll be out soon. Until then, check out one of our other videos. We've been Billy and Tom for Nerds of the West. Catch you next time.